First story. My wife cheated. I think I'm going crazy. Firstly, I want to apologize because this may be all over the place. My wife and I have been together for 10 years, married for 2, and have 2 kids. When my firstborn was only a year old, I found out my wife was watching cowboy porn online. I confronted her about it. At first, she denied, then admitted that she watches porn online because she felt like she wasn't going to live that life anymore as a mom. I was heartbroken, but we got through it together. We had good years of mutual trust and respect. Fast forward to 2020, I found out she had been talking to different guys on her Fitbit app. Before confronting her about it, I had found her Snapchat account. I saw her replied to a 28-year-old guy chat about losing her virginity. They chatted about how she should be careful, but that had really pissed me off. So I talked to her about it. She mentioned how she just felt like she needed to be more open-minded to herself. And about the Fitbit texts, she was just looking for engagement. I'll add that she was a few months postpartum, so we got through it again. And now, here I am, dealing with crazy thoughts. I have a gut feeling she has been talking to other guys. I don't know how to explain it, but I found a ton of crusty socks. I brought them up, and she mentioned how they were boogers. I was so heartbroken. She lied to my face. Again. During that time she made a Twitter account for posting memes. She never followed me, or asked to do so. One day while she was napping, I went on to look for her account. When I found it, I saw posts and replies as if she were single. She posting her nude and a pic she's blowing 2 dildos, saying I bet I'm kinky of the world. Again, I talked to her about it, and she said it was just to engage with people, to get followers and whatnot. She had just lost her job, company went out of business. So I put things to rest, because things at home started to feel very tense, and I feel as my kids knew what was up. Today I went through our old app store on Google. I found an app called Signal that was no longer being used in 2018. Then I went through our shared apps on Apple, and found she downloaded Discord uninstalled now, and Zoom in May. A few weeks before all of this I asked why she had Zoom since she said it was for my interview a while back, but she had gotten hired in 2022. That's when my suspicion began about her possibly talking to other guys, maybe. Last thing, she had given me her phone to change the settings on our son's game. I accidentally pressed the emoji app, and saw some that haven't been used on me like the cake, a winky face and devil face, a purple one, kinda malicious. That's when I started thinking okay, I feel like I'm going crazy. Emojis. Writing this down feels like I've been laughed at during our whole relationship. My heart feels broken, because I love her. And I don't want to think any of this is true, that maybe I am going crazy. So it sounds like she's been emotionally cheating on me. I wanted to know, has she had long conversations with other guys online that I didn't know of? Zoom doesn't seem to be a big deal to me, but Signal is a red flag. It's quite frequently used by cheaters to communicate. It sounds to me like she's mainly into online whores. If I say that's a boundary, then she cheated. Period. I know I need to confront her. At the very least I don't trust her right now. Some people suggested here's what I would do. I would sit her down and tell her not to talk until you're through talking. But this works. Then I would tell her make that logical presentation of evidence. Then end it with something similar to this. My trust in you is extremely low right now. It's almost non-existent. What you are going to try to do right now is to try to explain and excuse the different things I've mentioned to you right now to try to convince me that my lack of trust isn't logical. Here's the thing, honey. Whether or not my lack of trust in you is logical or warranted is not the issue here. The issue here is that I have very little trust in you right now. Period. My question to you, and your answer to this question will determine how we go forward in our relationship, is how are you going to restore my trust in you? I'm not interested in hearing your excuses or reasons for the actions you have done in the past. What I'm interested in is the future of our marriage. I can't be married to someone I don't trust. How are you going to make me trust you again? If you need a day or two to come up with a plan, that's perfectly acceptable. We'll come back and meet again this time tomorrow, and you can lay out your plan to renew my trust in you. Just know that I value our marriage, and I want to trust you so very badly, and I'm really hopeful that you can come up with some suggestions on how we can make that happen. I love you and I love our relationship and family so much, and I don't want to see it end, but make no mistake. If I don't trust you, I will pull the trigger on this whole thing in a heartbeat. She tends to get really defensive and upset, and I do try to avoid conflict because of our kids. I know I need a backbone, because I am tired of living with suspicion. I know she's masturbating to some Twitter guys for sure. I don't know if I would end the marriage over this yet. I wanted to sit her down and tell her I know what you're doing and you don't like it. If she wants to save the marriage, she needs to start marriage counseling and individual counseling for porn addiction. This is an ultimatum. That is what I was afraid of. She knows I deal with self-esteem issues, and I have made it my mission to work out to be in a better headspace. I've told her that while I am not okay with her watching porn, I know she is still going to do it. I cannot control what she does with her body. After all, we all masturbate. Twitter's guys are the one thing I told her I will not allow. She does have addiction problems. We would drink together a lot during our first years. I stopped after realizing how deep we were. She stopped 2 months after and started weed weeks later. She recently stopped due to finding a new job. So an addiction to porn wouldn't surprise me. Second story. Wife gets messages from somebody she says is just a friend. I saw a message on my wife's phone a couple weeks ago, but didn't get the chance to read it. It was from a guy she went on a trip with one of her girlfriends 5 years ago. Many pictures on the trip of him touching her, sort of like a couple's pic, in a group. She posted these pictures on her social media. On the other hand, I barely get any social media posts, in fact no couples pictures, just vague stuff like us eating with each other, where I could be any random guy, met while volunteering when she was in college. He is an athlete, and at the end of the tournament, he posted a video of them dancing on his Instagram story with a heart emoji. She pushed back on me saying that I still followed and sometimes liked the IG photos of a girl that I kissed before I got together with my wife. This is true, but I told my wife, if the girl messages me, I will tell her. My wife asked me to unfollow this girl. I said no, but if she really wanted me to, I would unfollow her if she unfollowed this guy. She said no. What kinda sucks is that she seems like she is lying and says they never did anything, not even a kiss, according to her. She says that he is a playboy. LOL. That's a common theme in here. I would never date him. She is with so many other people and probably doesn't even like me. She told me that even her mom and sister brought up the photos when she posted them years ago, as it seemed like they were in a couple, and she responded with something like, "We're not, he's not a great guy." Well, guess what? She still wants to message, keep photos up, and hang out with someone who isn't a great guy. A couple other things, she turns her phone away a lot and has done it more recently. I noticed it when I was riding on the subway a couple months ago and I was sleeping. When I would wake up, she would turn her phone off and away. She did the same thing when I came up to her in a restaurant last week. When she saw me coming up behind her, she swiped out of her messages and turned it off. She said it was because she was complaining to her girlfriend about me, for a valid reason. We were going through an argument at the time, and I don't blame her if she was complaining about what she says she was complaining about, and didn't want me to see. Finally, 2 weeks ago I fell and hit my head in the shower. I wasn't seriously hurt, but I went to the ER at 2 a.m. It's 10 minutes away from our house by walking, just to make sure. She stayed at home, texting. She said she needed to dry her hair after her shower. Last night I was angry and told her how disrespectful it was for her to seemingly lie about this guy to me. and to pretend that it wasn't a threat to our relationship. She told me that it was bad that I kissed the other girl before me and her were dating. I told her that, yes, I liked that other girl at one point, but during that time, my wife was also going on trips to foreign countries, posting pictures with guys in hostels, etc. Hence why I didn't want to be in a relationship with her. Her actions were in no way like that of someone who is a loyal partner. Anyways, I have moved to another city for a new job, and we had a 3-hour phone call today. I just told her honestly that I don't think I will be able to get over her and this other guy, and that maybe we should break up. I told her that I'm even fine introducing her to other guys. My friend, for example, is a doctor and knows a lot of single, successful, nice guys. I told her that some of our mutual friends are also great guys, handsome, nice, etc. I said I was disappointed that she chose to be with someone who, in her words, isn't a great guy. I said it was sad to me that she spent so much time with someone like that. And I am not really mad tonight, just sort of like, sad. I don't think I'll be on dating apps or anything, just going to use healthy strategies to not let this affect me. And I'm going to focus on my new job. Third story. Wife emotional affair. Hello, I was pointed in the direction of this channel after getting a lot of helpful nudges. To say in short, while my wife was away, we were texting to end our night. Where she was, it was after midnight, and where I was, it was a 3-hour difference, so I stayed up until after 3 am just so I could tell her good night and I loved her, etc. Even though I have to still get up with our infant. She told me good night after midnight, which was still a bit late, because she had to be up at 6 in the morning anyway to get to work on time. I thought it was just because we were having a lovely time on the phone, and she didn't want to let me go. She went to bed late. And that's why when she said good night and not much else, it was because it was late. Didn't even question it or have any suspicious feelings about that. I even called in the morning for our usual good morning, I love you. But she wouldn't answer. I started to worry and I called for almost 40 minutes and she finally texted me she overslept and was going to get ready to head out. I even blamed myself. But then later I discovered wasn't looking just happened that way. That same night at 12:43. On the dot, the same time she told me goodnight, she got into a 3-hour conversation with other guy she calls her friend, or a buddy-like friend. And I also discovered there were multiple of these calls. She's admitted to an emotional affair, says she will remove him, says it wasn't sexual. I don't know if I believe her, and not just because she lied, but my mind is screaming something else is there. She doesn't want us to end. We've been doing a lot of back and forth. I'm unsure how I want to proceed. Obviously I love her. This is hard. To get to the grit of it, this is not the first time she's crossed a line with me over another guy. This is just the first time it's been this bad, to my knowledge. In the past I discovered a couple red flag things. So first thing is, she had this best friend in the past everyone assumed they were dating or that she was head over heels for. She denied and denied. Fast forward to an incident where I stumbled upon a plethora of photos of him. Some of them together with his arm all over her, and then just selfies of just her, and lots of them. Confronted her head on about it and she told me I don't tell her what to do, she doesn't do demands, and I don't control her memories. Then she broke her phone at work and had to get a new one. So this next thing could be innocent, but Tinder ended up on her phone. App she hadn't used in many years, I hope. She was showing me something and I saw it there, and she got defensive and said she didn't know how it got there. Eventually I let that go, but now I'm here sitting on this steaming pile of shit. I feel lost and very broken. I need advice, help, maybe a slap? P.S. Sorry this is long, my mind is just, whoosh. Also forgot to mention she has now decided she doesn't want to do transparency anymore. She said she's changed her mind and a podcast convinced her I should just trust her. She has hid everything from me and is refusing to show me the conversation between the two of them. Fourth story. Conflicting feelings after my wife affairs. Apologies for the long post in advance. WW and I have been married for 10 years. No issues with infidelity of any kind in all these years. She is completely committed, fiercely loyal kind of a person. Until June this year when she had a ONS with a co-worker, and count her 3 times, in her car after an office party. Apparently they felt extremely guilty and ashamed after this. He was friends with her before but never had any romantic feelings towards her. Things got out of hand that night and they were a bit drunk. She took full responsibility of the situation. For context, I've only been with my wife as a romantic partner. I'm very loyal and can't even think of doing anything like this. I almost gave up on the marriage as this was my hard boundary. I kept thinking how I didn't see it coming but there was nothing to be suspicious about. They never texted except about work and work chat. There were no calls, messages, photos, nothing. She was never glued to her phone or devices, never has. We joined MCNIC. I decided to give this marriage one last chance, considering it was a one-time mistake. She was very remorseful and promised to never ever do anything like this again. Fast forward to the next month, July. It was her birthday. I felt nauseous to celebrate her but decided to get a cake. I also planned to go out and do activities, but it didn't work out due to car trouble. But we saw a movie at night. On the drive back home, she made me feel a bit bad that she didn't get to celebrate her birthday. I felt hurt, like I'm trying to not suffocate here with my pain while all she cared about was her birthday. I cried a lot after we reached home but then I let it go. That same day she got herself an expensive gift that she wanted to own for a long time and it arrived today. I'm again feeling very confused. I trust her about the fact that she won't do anything like the ONS again. But how can she be happy, act normal like nothing happened, buy herself expensive gift after breaking my heart just a month ago? Not to mention she knew we were trying to get pregnant when she did what she did. How can a person be so cruel and still manage to do normal things for herself? I did agree to reconcile and so I do want her to have nice things, be happy. It's not like I want a gift for myself or anything. But at the same time, it hurts how fast she moved on. Didn't feel like she understood how badly I am still hurting. I can't share this with her as it will make me look like a horrible person and ruin her excitement. But I'm not able to be happy for her seeing how she could cheat on me last month and next month, buy herself an expensive gift for her birthday. I can't eat thinking about this. I appreciate any of your insights or experiences. Just to clarify, she was discussing about buying this thing with me for a while and I have expressed how I feel about it. The counselor said it's her way of coping with the shame she feels. Like she's creating distractions and putting all her attention elsewhere so she doesn't have to think about the ONS. She's had a bad childhood with narcissistic mother who did multiple affairs and an absent father. The AP was also engaged and almost blew up his relationship, it seems, so he stopped coming to work. He does work from home. My wife does the same, rarely goes to office. They work in the same department, but not the same team, so don't have to interact with each other. She set boundaries where she's not going to be alone with another male unless it's in public plus unavoidable, and she won't get drunk if there's possibility of any males being present. We barely ever drank, which is why it was very shocking. The counselor said she's not trying to hurt me by buying the gift, it's just something she is doing to feel normal. But it does feel selfish and I guess unfair, which is bothering me. The counselor said if I get hung up on what's fair or not, it's never going to be fair. Instead to heal I need to forgive her and not take this gift personally like an attack. I guess I wanted her to not buy anything at all and think about how she hurt me. I would still feel the same, I guess. Thing is, she was discussing about buying this thing for a while and I have expressed how I feel about it. The first week or so when she told me about the ONS, she was extremely depressed, almost suicidal cause she didn't know what to do. She bought some clothes for herself that time. It's not like she stops me from buying what I want, so it's not about the gift or the clothes. The counselor said it's her way of coping with the shame she feels, like she's creating distractions and putting all her attention elsewhere so she doesn't have to think about the ONS. She's had a bad childhood with narcissistic mother who did multiple affairs and an absent father. She said multiple times that being drunk had nothing to do with what she did, that he takes full responsibility for it. She set boundaries where he's not going to be alone with another male unless it's in public plus unavoidable, and she won't get drunk if there's possibility of any males being present. The counselor said the same thing about trusting actions rather than words. That WW wants nothing to do with AP, she told me very soon after it happened. She broke contract immediately with AP, etc. She's not trying to hurt me by buying the gift. It's just something she is doing to feel normal. But it does feel selfish and I guess unfair, which is bothering me. The counselor said if I get hung up on what's fair or not, it's never going to be fair. Instead to heal I need to forgive her and not take this gift personally like an attack. I guess I wanted her to not buy anything at all and think about how she hurt me, but don't know if it would have made me feel any different.